Inflation in its simplest form occurs when central government decides out of its own volition to print more money. When there is more paper money in circulation, the price of goods and services go up. Simple demand and supply economics. Now, why is printing more money the problem? Let's say I work 9 to 5 and make $1,000 per week. I spend $500 every week and save $500 in a bank that gives me, let's say, 4% per year. 10 years later, I will have savings of over $260,000 plus 4% that the bank would give me on top, let's say 10K in total. Now, all of a sudden, the government decides to print more money, which means there are more dollars out in circulation now than there were 10 years ago. What does that mean? Simple demand and supply economics. The new money inflates the dollar supply, and the things you could buy with $260K 10 years ago would now be impossible to buy with the same money. So basically, whoever gets their hands on that new money the government just printed is essentially stealing your savings. United States government printed over $6 trillion in the last 2 years, which is around 40% of the total dollars that are in circulation right now. Since 1913, there were $15 trillion total in circulation up until 2020. And in the last 2 years alone, the economy has been bloated with $6 trillion more dollars. This is why inflation has skyrocketed, not because of the Ukraine war or the COVID pandemic. But most importantly, if you had dollar savings or sterling savings, a significant proportion of those savings were essentially stolen from you by the US Federal Reserve. Central governments around the world use 3 what I call grand theft tactics: inflation, taxation, and confiscation. Without exercising these tactics, all central governments are essentially bankrupt. Now the question is, how do you free yourself? And that's where Bitcoin comes in. Bitcoin protocol was created to store and transfer value without the influence or control of any government or a central bank authority. Bitcoin, for its inherent deflationary nature and limited supply, is fundamentally an instrument that can store value over time. There will only be 21 million Bitcoins in circulation. No one can create or mine one more Bitcoin after that. Therefore, there is no question of inflation in Bitcoin. It cannot be printed, it cannot be seized by anyone. You hold the private keys to your wallet, you are the government, you are the bank. And that, my friend, is their main problem with Bitcoin. Not because Bitcoin is volatile or that it's used for illegal transactions. Bitcoin is still in its very early stages of mass adoption. And if anything, volatility is what makes it even more exciting. And despite all of its volatility, the crazy highs and lows, Bitcoin by far is the best performing asset in the last 10 years. Yes, compared to gold, stocks, bonds, real estate, Bitcoin, despite its volatility, has outperformed all of these assets.